what's going on in art practice and about validity in the art that we make, about collaboration and doing it yourself and all the communities involved, and some of the core ideas behind the diversity studies program and where it's come and grown and what we really want to focus on today. So we sort of spilled off and decided to organize this conference to really talk about disempowerment and talk about what we do with disempowerment in the sense of creating work, and who is underrepresented and what communities are underrepresented. So we decided to put on this conference, and it's taken a while to pull it together, but we really are pleased to have pulled it together. So I just want to give a clap for everybody involved.
Let's talk a little bit about naming, because that is a power that we have. We have the power of our voice. And oftentimes you'll be in the class, and there'll be some people who are like, "Oh, okay, you're really intelligent, but some of the things you say are kind of hard to hear." And it's like, yeah, some of the things I've been through was kind of hard to go through, and I'm sorry that I'm throwing it in your face. I don't mean to throw it in your face. I'm a product of that. And if I were to, for lack of a better term, whitewash myself, I'd only be teaching other people that in order to be successful, they have to be different than who they are. I'm not trying to tell my kids to be who I am. I'm trying to encourage people to use these words and to take them more seriously. When we talk about something that's just semantic, okay, let's just, as opposed to just examining it or looking at it, let's just talk about how we say it. I'm not just talking about the fact that black olives are in a can and the green olives are in a jar, but in a way I am, right? Then when we talk about the rice, it's like, well, you know what? We got a form of rice that we here, it's called wild rice. What the hell is it called? Wild rice? Like if you're getting too close to the brown rice, it's not going to be the model minority rice anymore. It's like, yeah, man, let's burn this whole store down. But again, this idea, oh, what kind of Mexican doesn't speak Spanish? And I'm like, oh, I get it. Right? So this is what I mean by what we say and how we say it, and by what we can control, because this is how we can frame the universe, is by these words that we use.
Another good thing about being on one of these panels is I get to talk about my favorite people, and I get to honor people. One of my favorite things is to talk about folks that have inspired me. And I want to say one quick thing about, thinking about art and art practice. I'm getting my master's in art, and I'm really thinking about, what it means to be an artist in community, and also just an artist within the studios. And one quote always resonates, and when I'm by myself in the studio, it really comes back to me, and it's by Degas. And he says, "Art is not what you see, but what you make others see." And I think that's a very, very powerful quote, and very powerful, that gets to the heart of what at least I'm trying to do.
The concept was arte es la vida, art is for life, and we wanted to honor the people that had died at that massacre. So Josue painted a little school bus that was going upwards, and it had little wings. And that was right next to the cross. So people really liked that because it honored them in a positive, uplifting way, not in a sad, gloomy way.
And I really appreciate all the work that has been done to get art to the point where it is seen as something that is a venue for conveying content, for gathering community, for mobilizing people, and for transforming space. And so because of all of that work that has been done by folks painting murals and creating posters and designing images, that is what has, enabled me to grow up in a place where there are murals on the walls. And walking around the neighborhood, Rosita Eyes had done a ton of murals all over the neighborhood. So as I was growing up, seeing murals on all the streets was something that I thought was normal. And then as I began to leave the Bay Area and go other places and realize that there's not murals everywhere, and there's a lot of places that look like they are in need of the stories to be told, and a lot of places where the stories are there but are not out in the streets and out in the public for everyone to be able to see.
Kinds of ideas that come around. So now we are at ethnic studies, which in this school isn't ethnic anymore, it's diversity studies. And everything gets more and more muddy. Now it's like, well, you can get people with PhDs in ethnic studies. Yes, you can. But then you are, again, privileging people who went through this one channel, and it's not available for everything. And again, our culture as culture is becoming invisible. Indeed, one of the things that Sean talked about, entitlement. When I go into classes, one of my courses, I teach science fiction to people of color, because I'm like really big on wanting my people to be in the future. And so I'm thinking one of the ways to do that is we need to see ourselves in the future, and we need to see ourselves in the future culturally, not just pretty brown people walking around, but actually having certain cultural manifestations of that. So I ask them to identify culture in the text. They don't ever see their own culture. They don't ever see European American culture. That's the culture.
Proud and pleased to be here to present the first CCA Diversity Award to Malaquias Montoya. As a product of the Chicano movement of the late 1960s and 70s, Malaquias has continued to exemplify the spirit of the artist activist. His ideological fusion of art and politics have become the prototype for an art that educates, inspires, motivates, and challenges. Most importantly, though, moves the viewer to join with the artist in his words, quote, to reveal reality, to actively work to transform it, end quote. Lend my congratulations to Malaquias for this very well-deserved award.
I want to thank Claudia, California College of Arts, president who's here, and all of those who participated in this event, because I never really thought of doing what you do every day as something that you have to be rewarded for. But it's always nice coming from those who, who you also respect and do the similar work. I was saying earlier to the president, it was difficult because ethnic studies, we were trying to get it to be a requirement. And so we had meetings and meetings about ethnic, and even the idea that how dare you, how dare you want our students or make our students requirement to take ethnic studies. And it was just sort of like, we have to take all the other courses. You had about each person 50, you had 400 or 200 years of cultural diversity in those 4 people, because we were all community activists. And yet we were not part of those meetings of bringing and discussing cultural studies. And I was telling the chair, the person, I says, I can't believe it. I said, here we are downstairs in that basement, and we're not part of this. But that was a long time ago, and things have improved. So thank you very much. Gracias a todos.
How proud we are on behalf of the college that you are the recipient of this first award. No one is more deserving of it. And I hope it's a small indication of what you have achieved and the symbol that you've created for many of our students. But I hope you will take equal pride in knowing that diversity studies is still a requirement at this college, something that we started many years ago, and that we are one of the few colleges that has a community arts major, the great work of diversity studies throughout the college, and the Center for Art and Public Life, which are ongoing and dynamic continuations of the great work that you started years ago, and we are very grateful.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
And
you
the conference this
very
morning, the dialogue that went on, and the participants were all just really great. So, thank you very much.
It's great to see that. Thank you.